You've done well, Wayne. Well done.
Someone has to.
Someone had to change something, or else this was just going to be a boring segment. I got you guys. You're welcome.
Yeah. No worries. There's a brown envelope in your dressing room.
Thank you.
All right, anyway, thanks a lot for that. But now we are getting closer to the game, so what we're going to do is throw over to our commentators, Cheeves and James Bard. Take it away, sir.
Thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. Now we get to the fun part, right?
Yes.
Cheeves, the time where we get to see these teams go head-to-head. It's Championship Sunday. It's coming down to this. Game 1, Dignitas, G2. There's no lives left. It is lose and you are out.
And the interesting thing, you want to look at like head-to-head matchups, and neither of these two rosters have obviously played each other since they're brand new iterations, but you can look at historically. G2's only beaten Dignitas one time, and that was back when they won E-League in 2017. But otherwise, Dignitas has got the better of these guys pretty much every time. So you're curious to see if Yukio or Chicago makes a difference in that.
And one big note is this is a best of 7. All the series today, best of 7. So it is, these teams, they're in for the long haul. And now G2, Dignitas, two teams with extremely high profile roster moves. Which one's the better move? We're gonna find out right now. And Twilight Panda getting followed up by Yukio.
Jeez.
And Turbo finishing off that play. Every player from Dignitas getting a piece of this goal.
I don't know what the G2 defense was doing. It was all just scrambling. JNap's not able to make the first save off the back wall. Rizzo rotating into the net, getting a piece of JNap's as well. Just everything went downhill so quickly after that tap from Turbo Pulsa coming up the back wall that just killed it right in front of the goal. So well done, Turbo Pulsa.
And we saw G2, they struggled a little bit. You know, they got reverse swept by PSG, but then stepped up when they had to secure their spot today. Dignitas looked pretty dominant, except against that series against Flipside. So this will be an interesting series to see how it plays out. JNap's getting stuffed. Rizzo hitting it upfield. Panda is waiting for it. Blocks the clear, but used up his boost. Got a bump as well. Now Yukio with a touch off to the side. JNap center ball. Rizzo's there, but Turbo breaks up the play.
And again, just to reiterate one point I made yesterday about what G2 feels Chicago really brings to this team. It's the ability to get the possession game in their favor. And that didn't quite work yesterday versus PSG, but maybe now, like they said, after getting to watch how Flipside beat them yesterday, they kind of know what they have to do, and we'll see if they can make something happen here.
And now a chance on the counterattack. Chicago waiting in the middle. Rizzo takes it himself. A little delayed shot. Hesitation move, and Rizzo ties it up for G2.
Yeah, just a missed challenge out of the midfield, and like you said, the hitch in the step right in the corner.
He held his flip for so long.
It's so good because it just forces the defense to take that extra second to think about what could potentially happen, and just that little bit of hesitation is all you need, like you said. Perfect.
And that positioning by Chicago in the middle, it always makes the defense aware of that threat, but now the counterattack coming on a save from Chicago. Chicago getting that away from Yukio, who was streaking in to get that shot challenge from Rizzo. Now JNap's to the corner, bounce off the backboard. JNap's, that shot wide.
They had them all beat. That one definitely needs to be in.
Oh, but there's the demo. And JNap's making up for that missed shot earlier, getting G2 the lead.
And just needed an extra try to get this one home. Chicago winning a nice challenge in the corner and a couple of bumps. Also the one at the top of the box from JNap's, giving him an unobstructed goal to shoot at. And yes, G2 will take the lead here to start off game number 1. Well, not start off, but halfway through.
We're approaching halfway, so I'll let that one go. Especially since it's the first game of Chiefs.
Yes.
A few mistakes.
I got to warm up,
Just like the players, we got to get into it as well. Chicago, he's upfield. Rizzo trying to get it to him, but Panda was there. Not the greatest touch. That's going to allow Rizzo to put a shot towards net.
JNap
with the fake, and Chicago with the demo on Panda. Now another shot. It was weak, but it forces a save out of Turbo. And now Yukio by JNap's. Rizzo coming in to help. JNap's not much boost. He's waiting to see if Dignitas missed. They didn't. Now Chicago takes possession, misses the ball, giving it up to Turbo. Turbo air dribbling it over there. Panda's going to try to keep this attack alive. Going to go off the ceiling. Missed his pass down. Now Chicago the other way. Taps it by Turbo. Turbo got bumped from Chicago. Now Panda is not going to waste his boost on that one. Turbo might have called him off. Now a hit downfield from Yukio. Chicago off the ceiling, bouncing. Panda going for the backboard. JNaps denies it into the corner. A good touch. But still the attack on. Center ball from Yukio. It was stopped by JNaps.
And JNaps, a lovely read on that pass out. When a 1-2 up the field, a solid save from Yukio. But again, talking to Jazo a little bit, I was talking about what I felt the dynamic would change of. You got that two big offensive front with JNaps and Chicago, and he actually says JNaps actually really prides himself on his defense, so definitely one to keep an eye out, and you saw that nice cutout on that pass earlier. It's a nice little highlight of that.
That was a very nice defensive touch. Those can't be understated how important they are. You mess that up, you're giving up a goal.
Exactly.
Almost every time. Now under a minute left to go. Dignitas having to fight back. Turbo trying to backflip that ball out. He stopped it, and Panda came in to bail him out. Turbo into the corner, chasing it. Chicago pops it up. Chance for Yukio. Yukio just a little bit high and wide, and a good hit off to the side, but a double commit from JNaps and Rizzo. Center ball, Chicago ready. Blasted back to the Dignitas corner. Yukio went for boost instead. Chicago, kind of a weird ball right here. JNaps needs to get a good touch to slow it down. The demo coming out.
Oh.
Shot from Yukio. It's low.
Wow.
And a pool shot save.
That was nuts.
Chicago getting credit for that one, but whoever was behind it was Rizzo bumping him into that one. A close call, but it's not over yet. JNaps floating one down towards net, and that's going to be it for game one. G2 takes it. We were watching that.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Well, I mean, I think Rizzo would have gotten to the ball to make this himself.
Certainly.
But Chicago, no boost. He can't get out of the way. So he's like, all right, I'll just flip towards this, hope for the best.
All calculated.
Yeah, Rizzo
no
just
problem.
says, let me help you out.
Easy saves. So well done, Rizzo, Chicago in tandem, keeping the ball out of the net and hold on to that 1-goal lead for the past couple of seconds. But overall, I think Dignitas actually, the start of that game was great.
Yeah.
Lots of great pressure. Unfortunately, they started missing a couple challenges, losing some of them as well.
Yeah, I mean, they struck first. They got that opening goal, and then G2 answered right back. JNaps especially, he missed that shot, but bounced right back in it. I think he played well. He had that good defensive touch. You know, it was all around a good effort from G2. Dignitas, yesterday when we saw them trouncing people, we saw a lot of the Dignitas of old, really. With
passes.
Amazing
a lot of passes.
Amazing passes. The one we saw, the one goal we saw from them this game was just shooting pressure.
Chaos in front of the net.
Now getting into game two. Turbo and Panda both on the G2 half. Chance for Yukio and a save from JNaps. That defense that he prides himself on, we're seeing it firsthand. But the attack's still on. Achieves and Violent Panda bounces it by the final defender. Dignitas yet again score the first goal.
Was not able to have the resources. JNaps, he wanted to go get the corner boost, but he didn't have anything to go and challenge Turbo on the sidewall. Had to yield the space, and again, those passes that Dignitas are so strong at. A nice lead up to the top of the box and a solid shot under the last man.
Now JNaps, a lot of times in today's game, you see people going for the flip reset there. JNaps looked like he was thinking about it, but it's just one more tool in a player's toolkit. Sometimes you can even fake them. Yukio into the corner. Chicago, a slight touch. Rizzo now taking over, no boost from him. He's gonna pop it up for a teammate. Chicago is gonna hit it high off the backboard. Yukio there, hit it to the side. Turbo missing now. JNaps taking possession. Center ball, the shot from Chicago blocked immediately by Turbo, but the right idea from G2.
Yes, very well read by Turbo Pulsa. Understanding those passing lanes. JNaps wants two, just doesn't have the boost to get the job done. And still, Dignitas starting to kind of figure out how G2 is getting some solid pass plays. They're not quite losing as many challenges as they were, and there's a little bit more space for them to work with.
Now Rizzo. Defensive touch to the corner and pops it by. He's going to get that mid boost as well. Turbo also picking up full boost. He's going for a little air dribble. You see him using his car, not even flipping, but just rotating his car to get that little touch over the defender.
But it was very well supported by JNaps coming out for that challenge, because the first man just forces him, or Turbo, to make some sort of move with the ball, and the spacing of, I believe it was JNAPS right behind him, just says, now you don't get a second touch because I'm already there.
Chance for G2, up in the air. Rizzo gets a touch, couldn't get the shot. Now he's gonna have to retreat, no boost for him. Going all the way back to the corner. Chicago was forced to make the save, Rizzo helping out. Now Yukio putting it up the wall. Perhaps he wanted to hit that one a little harder, giving up possession. Chicago, good touch there. Ball dangerously out in front of net for a second, but Dignitas quickly taking care of that. A double commit. This is a good chance for G2. Center ball, and that's going to be wide.
You said it was a good chance for G2. It absolutely was. That really felt like the first time that Dignitas cracked a little bit, and G2 need to be able to capitalize on those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hefty double commit right there. 2v1 situation. G2 golden chance there, coming up empty-handed, but still keeping it close.
Too far.
Rizzo now lurking. That last player back looking for a rebound chance. Gets a hit off the backboard. JNAPS pass over to Chicago. Chicago blocked again by Yukio. Both Yukio and Turbo getting up in that shooting lane, and now a chance for Dignitas. They put that wide, but Dignitas has been doing a good job of getting very close to the shooters, blocking those shooting lanes, trying to prevent the shot ever from coming in at all. JNAPS down the sideline. Panda up to Turbo. Turbo go over to Yukio. Yukio flying in from off screen. It was a good pass from Turbo. Now on the other side, Panda forced to make the save. Chicago centers there. Well, no, just back pass. That could still work out. JNAPS.
He's got to get this one.
Keeping this attack going. Now Rizzo picking up that boost on spawn. That could be huge for G2's attack. And now getting bumped. Still, G2 knocking it right back in. JNAPS misses that. It's a fake. Floating out to Chicago. Turbo! What kind of angle was that, keeping that out?
I think Turbo's idea was that...
Oh, and a perfect pass, but again, blocked. Another pass.
Oh my goodness.
By Turbo. This Dignitas defense bending, not breaking, but G2 still on the assault. And a bouncing shot, very easy to handle, but Yukio doesn't get a great hit. Chance for Chicago. Chicago down to JNAPS. Yukio just gonna have to flick this by if he can, and he does. Buying valuable time, getting boost, and ending that G2 attack.
Oh dear.
Now a chance for
Executioner.
Dignitas. Turbo, you said it. The executioner. That's gotta be a heartbreaking goal for G2.
And it was just a well-timed fake from Yukio. They thought he was going to catch that ball. They tried to take it right off his hood. Just gives a little cut to the right, lets it bounce. And G2 caught on transition.
Yeah, and if you zoom into your screen, you check out Violent Panda in that middle box there. He was all smiles. Dignitas, that insane defense. He's like, I don't know how we didn't get scored on, and I'm happy we got this one.
Maybe this time? There we go.
Now Rizzo getting G2 on the board. 20 seconds left. G2, they still have hope. And that block from Chicago.
Absolutely, a wonderful charge from Chicago. They have to make something happen, close the distance, maybe force a mistake. Turbo Pulsa wanted to lift that ball up, maybe get it a little bit out towards the corner, but just a lovely challenge angle from Chicago, keeping it right there.
So we'll see what G2 can do with this timer if Dignitas tie up this best-of-7 series at 1 game apiece. Final 10 seconds. Turbo up to Panda. Panda down to Turbo. Turbo, that shot wide, but it's melting time away. Last chance for G2. It's on the wall. Rizzo has to keep it up. Passes it back. JNAPS and Chicago both jump. They can't do anything. They try to do what they can, but they end up own goaling, and Dignitas take game 2.
Yeah, there's not much that really need to be said about this. I think Rizzo just wanted a back pass, but they were all in the same part of the field. And JNAPS is like, maybe I can catch it. Nah, we've already put it in, whatever. And an unfortunate end to game number 2 for G2, but to be completely honest, there's only one reason that Dignitas win this game. It was fantastic defense. G2, tons of pressure, lots of great challenges. Boxed them into their own half.
Honestly, I've loved what I'm seeing out of G2. All these passing plays. It was good. We saw really phenomenal passing plays, doing the plays they needed to, creative, wonderful. But the Dignitas defense just too much.
Yeah, well done.
They were reading those passes well. You know, G2 executing well, but Dignitas, they were expecting it, and they were able to prevent G2 from getting anything done.
And we did a short little poll from you guys on Twitter to gauge what you guys thought was going to happen, and a surprising 50-50 for everybody
Really?
at home. So I guess
That is.
it kind of makes sense. I mean, people obviously enjoy the G2. There's the big G2 fanboys.
I mean, we are, that's pretty good odds.
But you do have to give credit. Dignitas, despite being on a slight dip in the otherwise dominant fashion that they've been in, still managed to garner 50 against G2, which is quite surprising, I think.
Well, here we go. Game 3. Dignitas and G2. Formidable adversaries here. And again, that question on everybody's mind is, who made that best roster move? And right now, two teams that made maybe the highest profile roster moves
Absolutely.
in Rocket League going head-to-head here. We'll find out which way it goes. Now JNaps up the side. Little pass attempt, but Panda easily handling it. A flick by
nice
him.
save.
You could see him trying to come in and make that solo play.
Now, one quite interesting thing that I noticed about game number 2, G2, while they did get a lot of great pressure over on the Dignitas side of the field, they did tend to struggle a little bit with the transition. So once Dignitas were able to break out of their hat and get onto the orange side of the field, there was a lot of dangerous opportunities for Dignitas. Only 2 of them coming to fruition. However, got to be able to limit that transition game.
Yeah, the Dignitas counterattack proved to be fatal to G2 last game. Question is, can G2 use those passing plays and finally beat this Dignitas defense? Turbo getting dunked on by JNaps.
Oh, he's
Chicago
already there.
backward pass, but Yukio got a piece of it. Violent Panda
Pass
was
it.
ready for it. Back pass to JNaps off the backboard, and
no.
Chicago jumped into JNaps.
Well, he had to go get that ball, and unfortunately, JNaps can't stop that momentum.
But that another right idea from G2. You see the vision there. But again, Dignitas ready at every moment. And a demo on Violent Panda from JNaps, but Yukio was way downfield. Violent Panda will have time to respond.
That demo actually works out.
And
It delayed JNaps getting back just enough to slide right in front of the last man. They want the demo right in front of the net.
yeah, you can see
Yukio, well
Rizzo
done.
trying to hassle Yukio there. And a demo from Turbo on Chicago. This is getting to be a pretty ruthless game. Violent Panda. Now Turbo upfield. Yukio.
This is actually scary, I think.
Defensive pinch. Rizzo missed his touch there, but Turbo might have been thrown off. Now ball in the G2 corner. Violent Panda missing his challenge. JNaps down to Chicago, who busts that ball over to the corner. Now back
And a
in
wide
the
open
G2
net.
half.
It's a scramble back.
And now a chance for Turbo, and he misses his shot. But Violent Panda doing a quick 180 to go for it.
It's 2 times in a row now that G2 have lost the ball out of the midfield, and nobody's been ready to go challenge the first guy there.
Oh, and a missed touch from Violent Panda. See if that comes back to haunt Dignitas. Yukio out of boost. Rizzo downfield. Violent Panda out of boost as well. Gonna have to go for that half boost. The shot beating out the defense. Where did Turbo come from?
Turbo, I mean, Violent Panda just pops that straight out, but Turbo, he's just waiting anywhere over on the far side of the field in case something crazy happens. Right, pinch off the ceiling, perhaps.
I mean, it was a tough angle for us to see, but it looked like Violent Panda just got the craziest touch with low boost. And Turbo was ready for it. It caught JNaps by surprise.
Spacing important. Not calculated at all, just right place.
Right place, right time.
And capitalized well again. That G2 rotation just a little bit slow on the way back. He almost made it back from the corner boost, but
again, it's Dignitas doing that quick 1-2. But JNaps snipes this into the corner.
I don't think anybody expected this to be a shot for sure. I mean, as far as Yuko is concerned, that's a pretty safe touch. Even if it does take that nasty hop, it's like your options are...
You can't put that closer to the corner than JNaps.
Exactly. 90% of the time, that's back
I mean,
wall or
honestly,
past the top of the box.
It might freeze a defender who thinks it's hitting post or wall. That was such a good shot. G2 tying it up. Dignitas on defense again, a position they find themselves in quite a bit. Chicago getting G2 the lead.
And Rizzo beats a couple of people in the midfield. Again, Yukio makes a pretty safe touch out into the corner, but just can't get that follow-up. And Rizzo, again, that pressure that G2 really feels like they get quite well with Chicago. They feel like they can play more aggressive in the midfield and try and push more offensively, and it pays off well there.
And now G2 starting to figure out this Dignitas defense a little bit. Turbo just a step too slow on that challenge to Chicago. Chicago getting that bye. G2 and now getting an answer back. Violent Panda threads the needle here. It looked like G2 was going to be able to save this, but Panda just pushes it through.
That's almost the same shot as JNAPS, except a little more towards the center of the net, basically, and G2 a little bit far away. Again, that's 3 goals in this game in a row that have all had fairly safe touches out to the corner to safety, and someone has made a phenomenal shot.
Yes. Rizzo got a tire on it, or a bumper, whatever you want to call it.
Not enough.
But it was not enough. Violent Panda from a tough angle, tying it up. Final minute of gameplay. Off the ceiling, that's dangerous, but Turbo actually blocked that shot. Now Chicago out into the midfield. Yukio trying to keep Dignitas on the attack. Panda, shot towards net.
Too
Nobody
far.
home, but it hits off the post. And now Turbo, sidewall pass. Yukio's there, blocked by Rizzo. Rizzo getting a demo. Now G2, their opportunity. Potentially take the lead. Yukio downfield off the ceiling. Rizzo.
Nice touch to space from Rizzo out of the midfield, instead of just trying to launch that right towards the Dignitas.
Oh, and that's dangerous, and Turbo able to get a key save there. And now off the ceiling, that might be going in.
Help.
Chance for Turbo, and a save from Rizzo. Keeping G2 in it. Long shot. Demo, this is still a chance. G2 could end it. And now we have overtime in game 3, a nail biter in the final seconds. Now we've got overtime.
And I actually really like Turbo's idea to shoot that on the bounce, just because G2 on defense, 99% of the time, they're diving straight across. The bounce adds that small bit of delay to usually fit it right by him, but nice save from G2 to keep things and almost get the transition back the other way.
Turbo opting for the long clear. JNAPS taking over, but he didn't get that boost. Now, good roll into the corner. JNAPS gets a demo on Yukio. Turbo low on boost. Rizzo gonna take over, trying to get another touch, but Violent Panda hitting it downfield, double commit. JNAPS off to the side. Chicago back over to JNAPS. JNAPS first touch control into the corner. Chicago pops it up, bouncing out into the middle. Turbo trying to bail him out. Dangerous. Bouncer in for Yukio, not much boost. Just gonna conserve, hit it off, gets bumped out of the play. Chicago down to JNAPS. JNAPS getting blocked.
This Dignitas, its defense really does remind me back when they first.
Oh, that key demo. And now a chance for Rizzo to get this ball out of danger. Dignitas, however, on the prowl. Violent Panda up, off the ceiling, off the corner, and out.
Tough break for Dignitas, but here's Rizzo. He's got him beat.
Oh, double tap, but no, Yukio not letting that bounce off the backboard. JNAPS hitting it to the side, going for a bump there. We've seen a lot of interference plays in this series so far. Rizzo, a back pass to Chicago. Chicago flipping forward. Rizzo, no, that one going off the backboard. Corner pass attempt, but it was, just too slow and not out into the middle enough, but off the ceiling. The miss here from Turbo. Scrambling defense from Dignitas right now. A bump on Violent Panda there, and Yukio's out of boost. Panda going head-to-head, gets it by 1, but Rizzo pops it up. Dangerous. Chicago airborne off the backboard. JNAPS waiting for his chance. He's going to fall back, but now a shot towards net. Save from Yukio, bouncing out into the middle again, but Yukio hitting it again downfield. Chicago right back into the Dignitas zone.
A lot less passes from G2. It's really just bomb it towards the back wall. See if they make a mistake.
And a mistake almost coming out there. Double tap chance, but it was narrowly missed. JNAPS weak shot towards net, saved by Yukio. Rizzo getting blocked. JNAPS up. Backboard chance, going for the double. No, Rizzo with the shot. But you said it, achieves an incredible stop from Yukio.
Didn't even have any boost. He just knew he was in a better position than his teammate. He only had like 12 to work with, and he had to go do something to bail his teammate out of a tough spot, and what a play it was.
And I feel like we've seen this story play out before, even in this series. Achieves G2, shot after shot, pressure seeming to just overwhelm Dignitas, but Dignitas doesn't break. And Dignitas, can they get this counter-attacking goal after these crazy shots from G2? Now Turbo off the ceiling. Panda going for the challenge, but just demos it. Now JNaps with the shot, sneaks it under the crossbar, and G2 win in overtime.
They just snuck this over that one, and JNaps again way upfield, just trying to get anything going. I think they might have wanted the demo on the net, but he just saw the ball pop up and just went to go get it. And of course, JNap's offensive prowess has not really been in doubt for a lot of us for a while, but watching that game, it really did remind me of if Team Dignitas, you go back to X Games 2017, right when they first formed with all of them, that defense, it felt like they could stop anything. Despite how scrambly and double committee it was, this felt like the exact same thing. It really did. They were diving all over the place.
Was that 5 saves from Yukio?
Making crazy stops, and somehow nothing would ever go in against them. So it's good to see G2 prevail.
Yeah, and you know what these guys are playing for? A chance to take on NRG. NRG went perfect in their groups, 4-0, getting a bye to the next round. Obviously, Dignitas G2 going to have to go up against them, whoever wins this series. But again, this series right now is going to be a battle. Overtime game 3, neck and neck, and now game number 4.
And G2, I actually quite liked their approach on the offense. I mean, despite it wasn't really pass heavy or anything, but because they see all that scrambling.
Chicago, that net was so open right there. That was a gift, a missed touch on defense by Dignitas. Chicago probably surprised, but that was a golden opportunity.
But that's why I like it, because, you know, normally we're like, you got to get the ball away from the corner. You got to pass it to the middle of the field. Got to create dangerous shooting opportunities. No, they see Dignitas just scrambling in front of the net, and they're saying, let's just make them scramble. Eventually they'll break. And that's the idea.
And they almost got a quick one right out of the gate. And even there, that shot, we almost saw an airborne give and go, like the NRG play back from season 2 in Chicago. He's finally going to get one past this Dignitas defense.
Yeah, Rizzo up to JNaps all the way across to Chicago, and Yukio, he's been playing some stingy defense, and he was quite close there.
He actually got a
piece of it.
He
but
did.
Just that's off by a few pixels to get that one out, just too far low.
And even the G2 of old, they had such beautiful 1-2-3 passing plays. You know, probably the best 1-2-3 plays that we've seen in North America back in the day. And that was a brilliant one right there. Rizzo over to JNaps to Chicago, high speed.
Quick transition.
Quick transition, getting the job done. G2 looking polished right now. But Dignitas, their defense has been quite stingy. However, their offense on display, Yukio tying it up.
We spend all this time talking about the G2 transition, and now we get the Dignitas version. They beat one guy out of the midfield, and Chicago just misses the clear off the corner. Tough read to make. You don't want to hit inside the net and just get stopped by the wall. You got to get around it.
And that's why you go for it, Achieves. You have to mentally just disregard that player trying to make the save. You know, a lot of times, you know, when I'm playing, I see somebody coming in to make the save, it messes me up, and I miss my jump.
And that's why you're not here.
And then I miss too, exactly.
That's why you're not on this field.
But Yukio just doing a brilliant job. He saw Chicago coming in trying to make the save, ignored him. Chicago misses, and an easy finish for Yukio, and almost getting another one there. That one off the post. Follow-up from Turbo.
Ooh.
No one on defense for G2. Turbo knocking it in.
There's a little bit of pressure to work with, a double commit from G2 and a little extra bump as they go across the net, and wide open, Yukio makes sure. He went to go block the guy because he thought he was going to zone him. He thought he was going to dive in front of the net. He said, if you're going to dive in the net, you got to get through me. And Yukio, well done there, knowing the play's not finished.
Dignitas answering back. Now off the kickoff, Chicago floating one towards net. Center ball. That would dangerously bounce across the mid. And now JNaps, no boost, just trying to 50-50 that ball to a spot where his teammates can work with it. Chicago?
Oh, that's okay. That's unfortunate, Turbo. There's nothing you can do about this one. Chicago just, Violent Panda misses the touch. He wins this challenge against Yukio, goes straight across. What are you going to do? You're like, guys.
That's a groaner.
He's like, you got to stop the ball.
Score, that's a we take those on G2.
that's what we take.
And that's if you're on Dignitas,
Oh, yeah.
Rough one there for Dignitas. Just the ball squeezing out. Bouncing off that defender, going into their own net. Tied up. Dignitas now, ball in their zone, clear from Yukio. Rizzo far downfield, booming clear. Panda on the backboard, first touch takes control of it, second touch as well, now centers to Turbo. Good control there from Panda, now the counterattack was on.
Lovely read from Rizzo as well. Turbo Bolsa had a lot of things he could do with that ball, but as soon as he had a good idea of what he thought Turbo was going to do, that little chip up, he went and got it and just stole it away.
JNAP's no boost here, so if Dignitas can get a shot
Hello.
on quick, it might be dangerous.
Hello.
A perfect pass
Oh,
down.
what a save!
And a save from JNAP's, but we're talking about G2's passing. That right there from Dignitas.
He's up on the ceiling.
Now off the backboard, JNAP's trying to get another touch. Yukio got a piece, but still JNAP's forcing it through. A bouncing shot,
Wow.
a save from Panda. Follow up, Rizzo with an opportunity. He's going to hit that wide.
Gotta tip your cap to Violent Panda. That's a tough save to make.
Absolutely.
I mean, he can either go middle of the net, far post, and he can't do anything about it with his boost situation or his positioning, so he sticks where he is and he gets a nice stop.
Now chance for Dignitas. JNAP's, he has been the guy to make quite a few important saves for G2.
Absolutely.
Got one right there as well. JNAP's getting interfered with by Turbo. Turbo interrupting that shot. Chicago attempting a clear, but centers it. Floater over there, and JNAP's able to punch it away. Now Chicago lobs it downfield. Panda into the corner. Saw JNAP's coming in, and a beautiful play there to keep G2 at bay. A miss from Chicago, though he does get the full boost. Turbo passing it back down to middle. Panda was far away, but a good idea from Dignitas.
And Dignitas starting, I think, to maybe get more of a handle on this one. G2 slowly but surely not being able to hang on to the ball on the Dignitas half for very long.
Chicago, bounce shot, but Yukio stopping it right away, controlling it. Good challenge, sends it across net and across the field. Turbo going for a doomsy dish there. Now Panda trying one himself. Back out to JNAP's. JNAP's down the sideline. Panda using up all his boost there.
I think that was a big waste, to be completely honest.
But now Yukio bouncing it off the backboard. JNAP's has to get the hit. He does. JNAP's with the final chance of regulation potentially. Now hit over to Chicago. Bouncing down.
Nice clear.
And a long clear. JNAP's opting to keep the play alive. Center ball.
Oh.
And that one almost getting dunked into the net. Still alive. Panda's gonna hit it to the ground. And we have back-to-back overtimes.
G2 almost able to capitalize again in 0 seconds because another double commit from Dignitas. Violent Panda and somebody else just went for that ball in the midfield, allowed a quick roll around, but I think as you see this series continue to play out, it's going to be G2's defense who winds up getting tested.
And then tested right out of the gate. Turbo gonna try to slow play this. Yukio with full boost. Leaves it for Panda. Panda over to Turbo. Turbo just lets it through. G2 double committing to make that save. Now Chicago thinking about going upfield, but now Rizzo back, no boost. Center ball. Chicago had a little bit of time, but still dangerous position. Now Panda controlling it, hitting it to Yukio, who puts it back to the G2 corner. Chicago trying to clear to the side, but Turbo was waiting. Chance for Yukio. Yukio off
finish.
the post, still in danger. Panda's up. Does he have
that's gonna
enough
be
for a
amazing.
double tap? He does, but now out of boost, and G2 get the clear.
And they just hang on. If Dignitas had collectively maybe 40 more boost, I think they find the back of the net.
But those are the margins that you play on at this level. Turbo trying to take his time, almost getting dunked on. Now Panda upfield. JNAP stopping the attack. Chicago with a bump on Turbo. 1v1 situation, but Turbo does recover in time to help out Yukio. Chicago taking his time. Demo on Chicago. JNAP's dropping it down. Rizzo dangerous into the middle. Trusting that his teammate would get there first. But still G2 on their heels right now. JNAP's down the center of the field, right to Turbo. Turbo pops it up.
Violent Panda missed the boost on his own side. He could have done a lot more with that.
Yeah.
Picked it up.
Now he's having to retreat with nothing in the tank. But this Dignitas attack prolonged. Can they tie up the series? Turbo. Good challenge from him. Panda's up, dropping it down. Yukio, again, off the curvature of the ceiling.
You saw
Chicago. And now off the backboard again, a bump. Chance for Panda. Panda finishes it off. Dignitas, they win game number 4.
And it all stems from that ball first getting kicked right above the net. Nobody from G2 able to defend the back wall during the rest of this overtime. And overall, finally, Dignitas break them down. They just say, you're out of position, you're using too many resources to have to jump up and go and stop these. And that's why you see the backboard such an effective use of offensive, because all it does is force your defense to use boost to try and get the ball away from danger, and eventually you will run out of it.
I mean, and look at the crazy amount of shots and saves going on. I mean, 5 saves from Turbo, 3 from Panda, 4 having to be forced out of JNAPS. And at the it seemed like right at the beginning of overtime, Dignitas, they just started to overwhelm G2.
Exactly.
What we've been kind of seeing is that G2, and I mean, taking a look at the bracket as well, just reminding you guys, single elimination, best of 7s. This is
no more
all
lives.
on the line. You have no more lives. So these overtime wins, like Dignitas just got, huge. Series tied up, 2 games apiece, going into game number 5.
And that was a big win for Dignitas as well. It puts everything on equal footing here for, if it's tied to 2, game 5's the big one. A lot of swing goes into game number 5 for everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, what I was starting to say was G2 seemed like they had the offensive
At the start of the game.
The check mark was in their box. But now Dignitas slowly starting to reverse that.
And that's what I really think is going to happen for the rest of this. I think Dignitas, they got a handle on how G2 approached the game in the first 3-4 games of the series. And now I think you see the Dignitas offense start to come to life here for the rest of this one.
So now we're tied up in the series. Chicago going for a bump, he did get it, but Rizzo was just too far away from the ball. Good dunk from him. JNAPS getting boost, following up the hit from Chicago. A ball in the Dignitas corner. Panda on the sidewall. Going for that backward pass, but G2 get in the way, but good boost steals from Panda. Now Chicago, over to Rizzo. Rizzo didn't get the hit he wanted. Now the counterattack from Dignitas. Panda with that challenge. Chicago quick to the ball. JNAP's not much boost, but a good 50-50, and that one just manages to sneak into the net. JNAP scoring for G2.
Good challenges, right? I was a little bit surprised right at the start of this replay. Why was nobody there in that midfield to challenge that ball for Dignitas? They let G2 go on the counterattack when it felt like they had all the pressure. They were stealing boost on the other side. How was nobody in position to challenge that? Either way, it gets brought to the other side. Like you said, a fantastic challenge right in front of the net from JNAPS, and it got its way home. And that's a transition. Violent Panda ties things up 1-1.
Panda coming out of the woodwork right off of the kickoff. Turbo getting that boost, and then look at that center ball from him. JNAPS, he was the last hope for G2, but Panda ready to shoot, and he doesn't miss those. Tied up at 1 apiece.
And a nice quick answer as well for Dignitas. You hate to understand that someone messed up somewhere, but it's always great to get it right back.
Yeah, scoring right on kickoff like that, it feels good. It feels real good. Now Dignitas, perhaps they can keep that momentum preserved. That one floating off the backboard. Yukio trying to get to it. And you know, it's an own goal, but you could tell that
He
last
didn't have an angle
knew.
anyway.
Yeah,
He didn't have an angle.
He had to go for it.
It's like, no, there's no way. There's no way, unless he's completely unchallenged and he can tip it straight up or something. There's no way that ball wasn't ending up in the G2 net.
So G2 getting that goal from JNAPS is 50-50, but Dignitas roaring right back, taking the lead. Chicago. His idea was to center, but nobody was there for G2. Low boost for JNAPS. Gets a bump on Panda, and JNAPS opting to stay in the play there. Drop down from Turbo. And we've seen Turbo in that position quite a bit, where he's up in the air trying to get that drop down to either Panda or Yukio. We've seen it quite a bit this series.
Just a couple of times for Dignitas for sure, and oh my goodness, that would have been amazing if that one snuck its way through Rizzo, the fake from Turbo in the air. And they're definitely going for get up there and make G2 think what you're going to do with it. And it's I don't think it's been quite as effective as they would like it to be, but either way.
Yeah, it allows them to keep the pressure going.
It really does force your opponents to make a quick decision. And human error over time.
And the beautiful thing about bouncing the ball off one of your teammates versus the backboard is, depending on the angle of the car, it can go any direction.
You can put it anywhere.
So it's a lot harder to predict if you're a defender. Now Turbo up the wall. He's going to center it out. No boost. That's all he could do with it. But Panda was trailing. Pop up from Rizzo. JNap's up. Off the ceiling. It down. It's Chicago there to brute force that ball in. The right idea from G2 on this attack.
This is just lovely recognition, I agree, from G2 that they see they have a free ball in the midfield, and it's that perfect touch from Rizzo to really get that ball started. Quick one in the midfield, rotating back towards defense, towards the back wall. Dignitas is in transition. G2 saw that opportunity to say, this is not going to be an easy one for him. Apply pressure, and they get it home.
Yeah, I mean, credit to JNap's for that. He was scoping out that play.
That follow-up touch was great.
Rizzo with the dish coming in from the side. If Doomsy's watching, he'd be proud right here.
He'd be proud, but he'd be, I think, also appreciative of the Rizzo dribble to get it up the wall. And even if Turbo Pulsa, he was close, but they had somebody coming to try and demo him out of the way. That was never going to be an easy stop for anybody on Dignitas.
Rizzo piping it up right there at a key moment for G2.
Oh, man.
Panda to the sign, a good give and go, but Panda's a little slow to it. Yukio getting challenged by JNap's. Out into the middle, chance for Rizzo. He's going to pop it up. Chicago keeping possession for G2. Now JNap's in the corner. Chicago will turn. Pops it up, going to go for it himself. Goes for an air dribble. In a situation like that, pros are so good now, you've got to either predict, are they going for the air dribble? Are they going for the flip reset? Are they going for the fake? What are they doing? Chicago not able to make it happen, though.
Oh, that's got
open net. Going wide.
And G2, they've made a couple of nice adjustments. They saw Dignitas starting to get out ahead of them a little bit, so they've figured out where Dignitas is trying to challenge the ball from. They're trying to get to it first, and it's paid off quite well as this transition happens. I don't know exactly who got caught out in the midfield, but either way, they went for this challenge right here.
Beautiful transition.
It was Violent Panda. Violent Panda thought he could close that gap fast enough, just couldn't get there.
Beautiful transition there. Chicago just waiting and just shadowing that ball, landing, flipping it right towards JNap's, and JNap's with a precision shot. We've seen him, previously with that precision shot that found the corner. That one sneaking in under the crossbar. JNap's having a very good series. Chicago. The challenge out of boost. He'll have to retreat. Yukio hitting it up the sideline. Rizzo will take over. Final seconds. Flip reset perhaps for JNap's. Time has run out for Dignitas in Game 5, and G2 move ahead in the series.
And G2 do pick up a well-deserved win in game number 5. It started off quite well for Dignitas. 2 quick ones right around the 3-minute mark or so. And then G2 and JNap's, like you said, having a great series. He's pulled up the numbers quite well defensively and offensively. He's been involved in 7 out of the 12 G2 goals so far, so he's definitely getting the job done. But Rizzo himself, an MVP performance here in Game 5. I mean, and I think what's the joke we have about Rizzo? Don't mess with him in Game 5.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Chiefs, let's talk about the big roster moves. This is Chicago and Yukio. How are these guys, in your opinion, playing in this series, and who has had a more positive impact for their team?
So in this series in particular, definitely think Chicago having much more of an impact. We've seen Yukio. He has been having to play a lot of defense. He's had a couple of good setups on offense to get Dignitas going the other way, but I think overall in this series, Chicago has been able to apply a lot more pressure to Dignitas than Yukio has been.
Certainly. I mean, that pass over to JNap's for the last goal of the game. Chicago's had his hand and a lot of these goals for G2. But the series is not over yet. But it could be if G2 can finish off this game in a win.
Yukio been involved in 4 of the goals for Dignitas in this series.
And Yukio still having a chance to make his mark. Dignitas need to win this game to stay alive in the tournament. That $50,000 first place grand prize on the top of all of these players' minds. And a bounce out to Yukio. Yukio off the crossbar. He needed to hit that for Dignitas. It was a tough shot, but that could have been a momentum changer.
It's another tall ask for Dignitas as well. I thought their offense was going to be able to get something going as this series has played on, but towards the end of that last game, they started getting boxed in again, just like the start of the series. So you got to credit G2 not letting Dignitas get anything going.
You know, Dignitas has been a rival of NRG, obviously.
Avidly watching.
Yeah, so they're watching to see if they can have another shot at Dignitas, that famous overtime game at the World Championship of the RLCS. They dropped to Dignitas. You know they'd love another chance, but G2, they're looking very polished right now. I mean, if you're NRG, who are you hoping to go against right now?
Ah, man.
I can't tell if Garrett was POG champion right there or having a nice yawn. Now,
we're already 2 minutes into this game.
It's 2 minutes. 2 minutes into game 6. This could be the decider. And that shot from JNaps, he has been clinical all series long. Achieves JNaps' nuts.
Put another one on the tally for him. Why not? In Chicago, of course, they said we like the challenge game that he gives us. The possession gets one out into the midfield, and
it's been like we've seen so many replays of Yukio attempting to save
been close.
An insane JNaps shot.
He's had to try, man.
You just can't do it.
And that's why you got to give the credit to Chicago. Yukio, it's been tough on defense for him, but that one, how did it end up in the net?
I mean, let's take a look at this replay. Panda off the ceiling. Chicago trying to get a hit here. He was in a very awkward position. Turbo had that top shelf available to him, barely missed, but fortunately for him, the defender helping him out. And I mean, we went 2 minutes with no action, and then 2 seconds with 2 goals. So back-to-back goals.
Oh, a big miss. You gotta finish
Turbo
this.
Air dribbling it into the net. A huge goal for Dignitas. Turbo, we haven't really been talking about him that much, but this, a massive goal.
And it was a free steal for Rizzo, pretty much. I mean, Turbo was second to that ball, no question about it, and he just straight missed it. And Turbo Pulsai said that you need to finish that, and boy did he. Just slammed it in under the crossbar.
He didn't have much boost to work with. That had to be perfect. And he did not let his team down. Now Turbo, upfield low boost. A backflip out to the middle, Panda. And now you saw Yukio committing as well. This is gonna put Dignitas in a tough spot having to defend the counterattack, but Turbo slowing down that attack beautifully. Now, off to the corner. Panda getting challenged by Rizzo. JNaps also having to get out of the play. Chicago coming up to help. Yukio touching it up. Turbo gonna center it. Backflip from JNaps. Numbers advantage for G2. The shot coming in. Turbo low boost making the save.
The understanding from Turbo as well. He knows there's only so many angles that ball can come out. He didn't even put himself on the line because he knew it was going to be easier to just drive in and kick it out towards the corner.
Smart defense from the 3-time himself. Now a demo on Turbo. Chicago in the corner taking his time. Challenge from Panda. Now Panda's going to pass that out to the middle. Good hit from JNaps downfield. Now Chicago, an attempt to get it out to the middle, unsuccessful.
And G2, what a big win it would be for them against Dignitas as well. Despite being totally different rosters, historically, Dignitas definitely gotten the better of G2 overall.
And this one has been a back and forth matchup. Now, narrow double tap miss, follow up, and that one's high as well. But Dignitas threatening there, shot towards net, Violent Panda with the save. JNaps.
Can they hang on for 50 seconds?
That is the question. If you're a Dignitas fan, you're hoping they can, but this is a chance for Rizzo. Rizzo, the bounce. He had a shooting lane, a demo as well. The Dignitas not out of the woods just yet.
It's scramble time right now for Dignitas. They're on low boost. Everybody's confused about who's where, and thankfully, a nice high ball gives everybody a clear perspective.
And a double commit pass from JNaps over to Chicago. This will be a chance for Chicago to do some work, but Turbo with a good challenge. Chicago at 50-50 going in their favor. Rizzo up, centering it, but Panda's there. Long shot. Chicago hitting it off to the side. G2 trying to tie it up and force overtime yet again.
Oh,
and
no.
they do it somehow. Chicago with this shot in the final seconds gets it by the Dignitas defense. How did he do this?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know exactly how you save that. He's in the right spot.
Violent Panda had a better position to make that save, it looked like.
But he's driving into the net, and
Yukio
there's
was
no
in a
time.
tough spot.
There's no time. You got to make a play.
And can G2 close it out right here? No, we're going into overtime. G2 1 goal away from moving on to play NRG. Dignitas, they just want to keep their shot at that 50K alive. Rizzo getting a demo on Panda. Panda will respawn. Rizzo last back on defense. Oh my,
man.
That one almost finding its way into the net. Turbo, center ball right to Panda, and that shot blocked by Rizzo.
And G2, the last
and
overtime.
a beautiful pass shot blocked by Chicago.
In the last overtime G2 found themselves in, Dignitas really was able to ramp up the pressure and find the back of the net. So you need to see them be able to hang on to this ball here and tip the scales.
And you can tell these players the pressure that must be on them right now. G2, they can close it out. Chance right here on the backboard. Yukio hitting it back down. Rizzo towards net. And now Dignitas on the counterattack.
Nice play from Rizzo. Didn't even have a lot of boost, and he got it.
Get it. Excellent defensive effort. Now numbers advantage for G2.
The
Rizzo
demo.
going for the bump, but it's dodged. Follow-up blocked by Violent Panda.
A lovely save from Yukio, not phased at all by the two-man team coming right at him. Lets Rizzo jump over his head, still goes and makes the great save. Lovely effort.
And that could have been the end of the series right there. G2 still threatening off the backboard. A miss from
they
Panda.
ran into each other.
And now Rizzo up to the side. JNaps getting dunked on. Chicago had to get back. A block in the corner from Chicago. JNaps up. Off the backboard, no boost from Yukio. It's bouncing out. Chicago putting that wide. JNaps sticking around, passing it out to the middle. The shot off the crossbar. A follow-up shot, and Chicago scores it. G2 is moving on.
And Yukio again in another tough spot on the defense. It went up to block the first one, saw it was high, let it go. Couldn't stop number two because G2 comes from behind him, blows him out of the way.
Jeeves, we were talking about roster moves. Look who scored that one.
Of
Chicago, the new addition to G2.
And he had a lovely showdown as well throughout that entire series. It's who do we think performs better? Again, you said it, Yukio looking a little bit defeated there. He knows he had it rough defensively all series. JNaps, Chicago, Rizzo, all of them firing tough shots towards the net. He tried to get in front of a couple of them, but you know, when the offense is really running that well for G2, there's few teams that can stand against them, and you got to give credit to G2 for not letting Dignitas get back into